Chapter 4585. She was a psychopath. While Hei Xinjiu was pondering, the national master ordered his men to bring Hei Xinjiu and the other two to the wooden fish and set up the evil warding formation. Qiying saw Yun Chujiu staring at the big wooden fish with shining eyes and cursed in his heart, this money grubber. At this time, she wouldn't covet the wooden fish, would she? Soon, the evil warding formation was activated. As the evil warding formation was activated, countless black gales attacked Hei Xinjiu and the other two from all directions. At the same time, the huge wooden fish began to emit a strong pressure. Qiying had been fed with poison beforehand and lost all his demonic energy. He revealed a look of despair. He really couldn't survive this time. Hei Xinjiu took out 2 detoxifying pills from her storage ring while resisting the black gust of wind. These were the pills that she had snatched from the 2 jailers yesterday. Qiying then realized something. Yesterday, Yun Chujiu was not poisoned. Today, she was not poisoned either. How did she do it? He did not have time to think about this. He took the detoxifying pills that Hei Xinjiu handed him and swallowed them. Buttface also swallowed one. Qiying and Buttface's demonic power began to recover, helping Hei Xinjiu resist the black evil wind. Emperor Wen Yuan and the others were shocked when they saw that Hei Xinjiu and the other two had recovered their demonic power. Could it be that the pig demon was really an ominous thing as the imperial preceptor had said? Otherwise, how could they not be poisoned? Emperor Wen Yuan looked at the imperial preceptor with some apprehension. Imperial preceptor, they have recovered their demonic power. They won't break out of the array, right? The imperial preceptor sneered. Your Majesty, don't worry. Let's not talk about this evil warding formation. Just the pressure of the wooden fish alone can suppress the 3 of them to death. In less than 15 minutes, they will die without a doubt. Emperor Wen Yuan nodded. It was true. The pressure of the wooden fish could not be endured by ordinary people. Moreover, the pressure of the evil warding formation would be even more intense. These 3 ominous creatures were doomed. However, Emperor Wen Yuan soon realized that it did not seem to be the case. The monkey demon's movements were getting slower and slower, but the pig demon and the dog demon did not seem to be affected by the pressure at all. They were extremely agile. Moreover, the pig demon seemed to be mumbling something. It was just that the formation was isolating the sound, so he could not hear what the pig demon was saying. The national master was also shocked. He frowned and said, Your Majesty, even if they are not afraid of the pressure of the wooden fish, they cannot break the evil warding formation. Emperor Wen Yuan nodded and continued to look at the array. At this moment, Qiying's head was covered in sweat, and his chest felt uncomfortable. He felt bad when he saw Hei Xinjiu and Buttface moving freely. Yun Chujiu was a pervert that could be ignored. After all, she was the reincarnation of the ghost ancestor. However, why was Buttface, a stupid dog, not afraid of pressure? He was even worse than a dog. Was there any room for reasoning? When he heard that Hei Xinjiu was starting to mumble, he staggered and almost fainted. Little wooden fish, look at what's on my wrist. This is your old lover. He broke through all the difficulties and finally came to your side. Aren't you touched? Little wooden fish, Little Bell came with overwhelming sincerity. You won't keep him away for 1,000 miles, right? Qiying finally came to a conclusion. This stinky girl was a psychopath. What she did was something that normal people couldn't do. Chapter 4586. It was easy to invite a god, but difficult to send a god. Hei Xinjiu kept mumbling for a long time, but there was no change to the wooden fish, and there was no change to the demon sky clock on her wrist. This guy frowned. Was she wrong? Wasn't the demon sky clock targeting this wooden fish? She sorted out the things related to the demon sky clock and suddenly had a thought. Fuck, could it be that the demon sky clock and wooden fish wanted to kill her first and then reunite? The fellow gritted his teeth and did not care if he was a pig demon now. He immediately bit his index finger and dripped it on the demon sky bell. Even in his dreams, the demon Sky Bell did not expect Yunchujo to use this move. However, he felt that it was not an ordinary item. Even if it was dripped with blood, it would not be contracted. This wretched girl had made a wrong calculation. However, in the next moment, an arrogant voice came from the spiritual sense of the demon Sky Bell. You lousy bell. Hurry up and hook up with Muyu, or I will feed you to the dogs. The demon Sky Bell immediately felt that the entire bell was in trouble. It was about to forcefully cut off the spiritual sense connection with Yunchujo, but it was suddenly stunned. The body of the bell trembled violently and made a whimpering sound. Hey Shinjo. Damn it, this lousy bell despised her so much. Was it going crazy? Just as Hei Shinjo was complaining, the light on the wooden fish intensified, and the arrayed disc of the evil warding formation shattered with a bang. The Imperial Preceptor, Emperor Wen Yuan, and the others were dumbstruck. What was going on? The evil warding formation could be said to be the strongest formation in the demon region. How could the three beast demons break the formation in such a short time? When everyone was shocked, they saw the pig demon approach the wooden fish and drip the blood on its index finger. The wooden fish flashed with light again. It had recognized its master. How was this possible? This was a treasure left behind by the demon ancestor. How could it recognize a pig demon as its master? Moreover, this pig demon was an ominous item. Hei Shinjo saw that the wooden fish had been contracted by her and immediately felt that the sky had turned blue and the clouds had turned white. Even the old locust tree spirit was pleasing to her eyes. The guy straightened his back and said arrogantly, Locust tree spirit, let me ask you. You said that I was an ominous object? Then why did the treasure left behind by the demon ancestor acknowledge me? I am clearly the messenger of the demon ancestor. I had summoned the heavenly thunder in the northern region before. How dare you, a locust tree spirit who does not know anything, slander me? What? It was the first time that the national master was called a locust tree spirit. He was so angry that his beard was raised. Shaking his hands, he said, You, the weather last night was clearly a sign of great danger. You must have used some unorthodox method to contract the wooden fish. TSK, unorthodox method? According to what you said, could the demon ancestor's treasure not even withstand the unorthodox method? Your Majesty Wen Yuan, this locust tree spirit is clearly slandering me. You have to give me an explanation today, or I will order the wooden fish to start a massacre. Hei Shinjo crossed her shoulders and said smugly. Emperor Wen Yuan's forehead was full of cold sweat. He was so regretful that his intestines were turning green. It was all thanks to the state preceptor's blind advice. If he had known earlier, he would have used these three beast demons to negotiate with Emperor Jing Shun. Now, he was being too passive. This pig demon had the wooden fish in her hands. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to kill her. Hei Shinjo crossed her arms and said while shaking her feet, Haven't you heard that it's easier to invite a god than to send a god? We've suffered such a great grievance, and you're just going to send us away. Do you think that we can come and go as we please? Chapter 4587, Acting Rich Emperor Wen Yuan almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This pig demon was clearly a scoundrel. No wonder the Empress of the Northern region voluntarily gave her freedom. It was most likely because she couldn't stand this scoundrel, right? Then what does Miss Shu want to do? Emperor Wen Yuan gritted his teeth and asked. First, let this old locust tree spirit apologize to us. Say that he was blind and saw wrongly. We are clearly the demon ancestors' emissaries. Second, give us 1 billion high-grade demon spirit stones and 100 heaven-grade herbs. Third, let us roam the southern mountain range freely. No one is allowed to stop us. Fourth, prepare 100 baskets of fresh fruits, 100 roasted ducks, and 100 roasted suckling pigs. Qi-ying. You can understand the first three, but you have the nerve to say the fourth? Also, are you sure that you, a pig demon, want to eat roasted suckling pigs? Emperor Wen Yuan was so angry that his head was buzzing. This pig demon was too insatiable. 1 billion high-grade demon spirit stones and 100 heaven-grade herbs. This was equivalent to half of his national treasury. However, he did not dare to force it. After all, the wooden fish behind Yun Chuzhou casually released some pressure, and no one here could withstand it. Just as Emperor Wen Yuan was about to agree, he saw a flash of light. The wooden fish, which was about 3 people tall, disappeared. A red rope appeared on Yun Chuzhou's left wrist, and a small wooden fish was tied to it. A weak voice came from He Xinjia's spiritual sense, "Master, my demonic power has been exhausted." There was a sentence that she didn't know whether to say or not. It was so infuriating. Would she die if she could hold on for a little longer? Besides, why didn't she tell her earlier? How was he going to end up like this? Just as he was about to cover it up, the imperial tutor suddenly realized something and said, "Your Majesty, this pig demon must have used some evil method to subdue the wooden fish. The wooden fish is a treasure left behind by the demon ancestor. How could it be manipulated by her? That's why it became smaller. Also, I saw the demon heaven bell on her right wrist. As long as we take down this pig demon, the 2 treasures of the demon ancestor will belong to our southern region." Emperor Wen Yuan was delighted. He was as excited as he was just now. He did not expect that he would get a blessing in disguise. He Xinjiu sneered, "Nonsense. Let's see who dares to go forward. I'll let Mu Yu kill all of you." Emperor Wen Yuan hesitated when he heard that. However, the Grand Tutor flashed and attacked He Xinjiu. He Xinjiu quickly dodged. The Grand Tutor returned to his original position after one attack. "Your Majesty, did you see that? She is just bluffing. Give the order. As long as we capture these 3 beast demons, the 2 treasures will belong to you." Emperor Wen Yuan immediately waved his hand. "Go. Take them down. If they resist, kill them without mercy." Qi Ying's heart was filled with rage. He wished that he could strangle He Xinjiu to death. If she had not been bluffing just now, they would have already left this place. How would they be in danger again? He Xinjiu also regretted it, but what was the use of regret? At this moment, a guard came over and reported, "Your Majesty, the Holy Son of the Celestial Ginseng tribe has arrived." Emperor Wen Yuan's expression changed. "Imperial advisor, the immortal Ginseng tribe has never meddled in the matters of the southern and northern regions. Why are they here all of a sudden?" Imperial advisor's expression also changed drastically. In the demon region, the immortal Ginseng tribe formed their own faction and disdained to meddle in the matters of the southern and northern regions. However, regardless of whether it was the southern or northern regions, neither side dared to offend the immortal Ginseng tribe because the immortal Ginseng tribe's strength far exceeded theirs. Chapter 4588 The Celestial Ginseng Tribe's Holy Son compared to Emperor Wen Yuan and the Imperial Preceptor, He Xinjiu felt that this Celestial Ginseng Tribe's Holy Son had come at the right time. This Celestial Ginseng Tribe's Holy Son had come at the right time. As long as there were variables, there would be life. She would act according to the situation later and might be able to escape. At this moment, a wave of exclamations came from the crowd. Then, the crowd automatically opened up a path. Needless to say, it was extravagant. However, He Xinjiu did not pay attention to that. Her eyes were wide open. Then, she took out a black cloth and covered her face, only revealing a pair of eyes that were rolling around. Qi Ying also had a shocked expression. The Holy Son of the immortal Ginseng tribe was actually Beiming. How was this possible? He should be a puppet just like them. How did he become the Holy Son of the immortal Ginseng tribe? Qi Ying was shocked and he saw Yun Chujia's actions. He was delighted. No matter how Beiming became the saint child of the immortal Ginseng tribe, he would definitely despise this brat when he saw her become a pig demon. Even if the 2 of them did not turn against each other, there would still be animosity between them. If he were to sow discord in the future, this brat might help the divine devil hall to deal with Beiming. The more Qi thought about it, the more excited he became. He even felt that the recent suffering was worth it. Emperor Wen Yuan was really a little apprehensive. Why did this sage child of the immortal ginseng tribe come directly without even greeting him? Could it be that some ignorant plant demon had offended the immortal ginseng tribe? Could it be that the sage child of the immortal ginseng tribe came to denounce them? But since they were already here, he could only brace himself and go forward. Emperor Wen Yuan squeezed out a smile and greeted him. I didn't know that the Holy Sun had arrived. Please forgive me for not welcoming you. The Holy Sun nodded lightly. I came uninvited. Sorry for disturbing you. What are you talking about, Holy Sun? The arrival of the Holy Sun has graced our southern region. Holy Sun, this is not a place for us to talk. Why don't we enter the palace? Emperor Wen Yuan said. The Holy Sun glanced at He Xinjiu and the other two, and then said, the elders of our clan have deduced that there is an envoy of the demon ancestor in the demon ancestor temple. I think it must be those three. Emperor Wen Yuan was stunned, and then he glared at the national master. In his opinion, the elders of the celestial ginseng tribe were naturally much better than the national master. It turned out that these three beast demons were really the envoys of the demon ancestor. This was bad. The imperial preceptor was also trembling. He was originally full of confidence, but when he heard the words of the Holy Sun, his confidence instantly vanished. The reason why the immortal ginseng tribe was able to surpass the plant demons and beast demons was because even in the most ordinary secular world, the ginseng had cultivated into a spirit. As for what secret it was, no one knew. Therefore, since the immortal ginseng tribe elders said that the three beast demons were the demon ancestors' emissaries, then they must be the demon ancestors' emissaries. Emperor Wen Yuan said with some trepidation, Holy Sun, this, we really don't know. If we know that they are the demon ancestors' emissaries, even if we were given 100 guts, we wouldn't dare to offend them. After saying that, Emperor Wen Yuan hurriedly said to the Imperial Preceptor, quickly invite the three envoys over. The Imperial Preceptor was furious. The three beast demons hated him the most. Let him invite them. Wasn't this sending himself to be tortured? Especially that pig demon, he had a belly full of evil water. He might not be able to deal with him. Chapter 4589. However, the National Master didn't expect that the pig demon didn't make things difficult for him and walked directly to the Saint Sun. The Saint Sun said indifferently, 3 messengers, can you come with me to the immortal ginseng tribe to stay for a while? He Xinjiu stammered, okay. Emperor Wen Yuan wiped off the cold sweat on his forehead. He was puzzled. It was rumored that the Saint Sons of the celestial ginseng tribe had always been fond of beauty. Therefore, they were always accompanied by beautiful girls. Even when they went out, they would be accompanied by many beautiful girls. Why were all the people around this Saint Sun male? Could it be that he was a good man? After the 3 Saint Sons left the imperial city, He Xinjiu and the other 2 got into a luxurious carriage. However, the carriage was dragged by a snow crane and flew in the air. The other attendants got into the other carriages and crowded behind them. He Xinjiu got into the carriage and began to pretend to be a quail. She didn't say a word. But Face said obsequiously, Your Excellency, I knew that a person like you who can move heaven and earth is naturally different from us. We have all become puppets, but you have become the Saint Son of the celestial ginseng tribe. But Face, admire you endlessly. The Holy Sun only glanced at But Face indifferently and did not say anything. Qi Ying, who was standing at the side, felt a little uncomfortable. It was really fucking unfair. Why had he become the puppet of the vixen? He had suffered so much that he was almost left with a shadow. And this Di Biming had become the awe-inspiring Holy Sun. No wonder the Lord had plotted so hard to kill Di Biming. Although he did not know what Di Biming's identity was, to be treated as an enemy by their Lord, he was definitely not an ordinary person. Di Biming took out a fresh and fragrant fruit from his storage ring and handed it to He Xinjiu, who was holding a quail. Hei Xinjiu hesitated for a moment before taking it. Although this foodie wanted to start eating immediately, she had to remove her veil if she wanted to eat the fruit. Thinking of her pig nose, the foodie's heart instantly dimmed. Hei Xinjiu put the fruit into her storage ring sadly. In her heart, she was determined not to expose her pig nose in front of Di Baiming. Di Baiming just smiled and didn't say anything. For a moment, the carriage was silent. But Face's dog eyes glanced between Di Baiming and Hei Xinjiu. He felt that as the fairy's #1 spiritual pet, it was necessary for him to do something. Therefore. But Face said to Di Baiming, "Well, Your Excellency, as the saying goes, when you marry a good wife, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Also, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. In short, now that the fairy has become a pig demon, you can't change your mind." After finishing his words, But Face turned to look at Hei Xinjiu. Hei Xinjiu, she only had one thought at the moment. She wanted to throw this idiot to death. Qi Ying's eyes lit up. A wonderful show was coming. Di Baiming just smiled. His cold eyes immediately softened. He reached out and pulled Hei Xinjiu, who was glaring at But Face, into his arms. He said calmly, "Little Jiu, as long as it's you, no matter what you become, it's the same in my heart." Hei Xinjiu's heart, which had been a little nervous, bloomed in an instant. Her sweet and sour feelings made her nose ache. She hugged Di Baiming's waist and started sobbing. Qi Ying. Where was the big show that they had agreed on? They had already bought the tickets, and he was allowed to watch this. Damn it, this Di Baiming's eyes were 80% blind, and his heart was also blind. Chapter 45-90 Unique But Face wiped his eyes with his dog paw. Sob, he was so touched. He wanted to fall in love too. When would he be able to break away from his status as a single dog? Hei Xinjiu cried for a while. She despised herself. It was most likely because she had spent too much time with little Mehmet. Otherwise, how could she have become such a crybaby? Di Baiming reached out to undo the black cloth on her face. A hint of a smile flashed across his eyes. It disappeared in an instant. Little Jiu's appearance was really cute. Although the smile in Di Baiming's eyes disappeared in an instant, Hei Xinjiu caught him in the act. This fellow immediately became angry from embarrassment. Alright, he said that he didn't dislike her, but he actually dared to secretly laugh at her. She was so angry. She pinched Di Baiming's arm hard, but it didn't move. She pinched again, but it still didn't move. Di Baiming wiped the tears off Hei Xinjiu's face with his hand, feeling sorry for her, and said, "Little Jiu, I just think that you look very cute, because when I first met you, your face was like this." Yes, it's unique. Qi Ying curled his lips. This Di Baiming didn't even think about telling a lie. Cute? How was a black girl with a pig's nose cute? Detestable was more like it. Unique? Pooey. Awkward was more like it. Regardless of Qi Ying's internal criticism, Hei Xinjiu was very pleased. This fellow thought about it. Back then, she had eaten the gigolo to death. What was there to be afraid of? After this fellow had thought things through, his thick skin returned. This fellow used Di Baiming's sleeve to wipe away his tears. Then, he took out the fruit that Di Baiming had given her just now and started eating it sweetly. But Face was drooling as he watched, but he did not dare to snatch the fruit from Hei Xinjiu's mouth. He could only watch helplessly. Di Baiming thought of But Face's contribution just now and threw him the same fruit. However, it did not look as good as the one that Yun Chujiu ate. Moreover, it was much smaller. But Face couldn't care less and said obsequiously, "Thank you, Your Excellency. You are such a bad guy. I love you so much." Di Baiming. Qi Ying's heart was a little sour. Indeed, he still treated him as an outsider. Otherwise, why didn't he eat the fruit? Hei Xinjiu finished eating the fruit and wiped her mouth and hands with Di Baiming's sleeve. Seeing that Di Baiming's snow-white sleeve had become dirty, she felt a little better. Di Biming knew her too well, so he didn't expose her and just let her do whatever she wanted. Hei Xinjiu said sourly, Prince Charming, how did you become the saint son of the immortal ginseng tribe? This guy felt very unfair. Why did she become a pig demon while the pretty boy became the awesome saint son of the immortal ginseng tribe? Di Biming said indifferently, when I regained consciousness, I was in a square. The immortal ginseng tribe was holding the heaven's chosen saint son ceremony. All the celestial ginseng tribe's sons were chosen by heaven. There was a heavenly sun selection stone in the tribe, and whoever's image appeared on it would be the son of heaven. Coincidentally, after I appeared, my image appeared on the heavenly sun selection stone, so I became the celestial ginseng tribe's son of heaven. Hei Xinjiu felt even more jealous after hearing that. Look at the pretty boy's luck, and then look at her luck. It was one thing for the host to be a useless little wretch, but now that she had finally obtained her freedom, she had become a pig demon. Did she do something wicked in her past life? Otherwise, why would God mistreat her like that? Chapter 4591, AOG, who had been beaten up. Di Biming looked at Hei Xinjiu, who was fuming with anger, and said in a somewhat amused manner, after I was chosen as the Holy Sun, I originally wanted to track down your whereabouts. However, some forces in the immortal ginseng tribe were restless, so I spent some time to obtain real power. After I learned of your news, I went to the northern region to look for you. However, after I learned of your disappearance, I came to the southern region. Hei Xinjiu nodded. Di Biming did not need to explain. She knew that he must have been delayed for some reason. Otherwise, he would have gone to look for her immediately. Di Biming nodded and immediately asked his men to turn around and come to Zhucheng. At first glance, it was indeed Aog and Chu Mo. Hei Xinjiu then realized that the secret technique she knew was aimed at beast demons. She didn't know if it would work on plant demons. Little Jiu, don't worry. I've seen the records of these two secret techniques in the immortal ginseng tribe's ancient books. They are also suitable for plant demons, Di Biming said. He had done his preparations long ago. There were many things needed to set up the array in his storage ring. As long as the newlyweds agreed, they could proceed immediately. Di Biming's current status was special, so the newlyweds did not dare to agree or not. Moreover, Di Biming had promised them a lot of compensation. Thus, they immediately began. Hei Xinjiu stared at him. This guy was thinking that Qiying had not turned into a demon, and Aog and Chu Mo might turn into a demon. That way, they would not laugh at her. This guy was afraid of being laughed at by Aog and Chu Mo, so he kept covering his face with a black cloth. Qiying secretly pursed his lips. He really did not know if this stupid girl was sick. Sooner or later, she would be found out, so why hide it? Hei Xinjiu was soon disappointed. Because both Aog and Chu Mo were the same, and Chu Mo seemed to have lost some weight, looking better than before. The few of them did not stay any longer. They immediately got into the carriage and set off to return to the snow domain where the immortal ginseng tribe was. Hei Xinjiu was still wearing a black cloth at the beginning, but it was really inconvenient for her to eat. She gritted her teeth and pulled the black cloth off. Chu Mo was still better. She was only stunned for a moment before she returned to her normal expression. After Aog was stunned, he burst into laughter and almost burst into tears. Little Jiu, you actually turned into a pig demon. This pig's nose is quite funny. Don't tell me you snore like a pig when you sleep. Hei Xinjiu was so angry that she kept sniffling and punched Aog's nose. I went to save you out of kindness, and you dare to laugh at me? I'll beat you to death, you ingrate. Aog covered his bloody nose and rejoiced in his heart. Fortunately, he had reined in his anger before. Otherwise, if he really married little Jiu, he would be subjected to domestic violence every day. Everyone looked like they were watching a good show. No one paid attention to Aog, who was covering his nose. Well, they were mainly afraid that Hei Xinjiu would vent her anger. In the end, Chu Mo took out a handkerchief and handed it to Aog. Aog wiped his nose and didn't dare to laugh at He Xinjiu anymore. He Xinjiu glared at him and then asked Di Baiming, "Idol, do you have any news about the big brick?" Di Baiming frowned. "I do have some guesses, but I need you to verify it yourself." Yun Chuzhou was stunned. She needed to verify it herself? Chapter 4592, Cabbages Eaten by Pigs. Di Baiming did not continue, but she understood when he mentioned the snow domain. He Xinjiu could only suppress her curiosity and changed the topic. 3 days later, the carriage arrived at the snow domain. Yun Chuzhou was shocked when she saw the scene before her. In front of them was a majestic city that was 10,000 times bigger than the imperial city. When the soldiers guarding the city saw Di Baiming's return, they immediately knelt down to welcome him. Not only that, after entering the imperial city, the people on the road all knelt down to welcome him. He Xinjia's heart was aching. He Xinjiu had noticed before that the people of the immortal Ginseng tribe did not have any obvious characteristics like other demons. The people of the immortal Ginseng tribe were no different from humans. Moreover, regardless of gender, they were all very beautiful, similar to the Yen tribe. As He Xinjiu did not wear a veil, when the people of the immortal Ginseng tribe saw He Xinjia's appearance, they were all dumbfounded. Why did the Saint's son bring back a pig demon? Because He Xinjia's skin color and pig nose were too eye-catching, they did not pay much attention to Chu Mo and the others. He Xinjiu noticed the expressions of those people and snorted in her heart. She deliberately moved closer and held Di Baiming's arm. What was wrong with the pig demon? The pig demon just had to take the best cabbage that the Saint's son had. He Xinjia's action immediately caused the celestial Ginseng tribe women to explode. Oh my god! That pig demon actually dared to hold the Saint's son's arm? Isn't she afraid of being slapped away by the Saint's son? That's right. I heard that there was once a palace maid who wanted to help the Saint's son undress and was directly slapped to death. This pig demon must be tired of living. However, they were surprised to see that the Saint's son had no reaction at all. Moreover, that pig demon almost fell down when she was walking carelessly. The Saint's son even helped her up. Oh my god, was their Saint's son crazy? They comforted themselves. Perhaps the Holy Son was just being polite. After all, this pig demon was a customer. Perhaps it had some background. He Xinjiu was very proud when she saw the envious and jealous eyes of the women. She almost laughed out loud. Di Baiming saw her small appearance and curled his lips. He slowed down his footsteps so that He Xinjiu could show off for a while. After He Xinjiu showed off for a while, she was attracted by the shops on both sides of the road. If it wasn't for the fact that she was a newcomer, she would probably have gone in for a stroll. Di Baiming saw through her thoughts and immediately brought her into a dim sum shop. He Xinjiu felt that the pretty boy was becoming more and more considerate. It wasn't in vain for her to train him for so many years. Therefore, this guy started to shop after shop. When the celestial Ginseng women saw their Saint's son's doting eyes and actions towards He Xinjiu, the pig demon, they were heartbroken. Could it be that the Saint's son liked this kind of style? How about they go back and burrow into the stove to blacken their faces and install a pig nose? There were many people waiting outside the Saint's son's residence, but they did not see the Saint's son return. Grandfather, didn't the Saint child say that he had already entered the city? Why hasn't he arrived yet? A beautiful woman said with a frown. The Saint child might have been delayed by something. He should be arriving soon. Rushuang, grandfather understands your thoughts. Don't worry. Grandfather will find an opportunity to mention the matter of selecting a consort to the Saint child, an old man with white hair and beard said with a smile. Chapter 4593, Should I take in a concubine? The old man who spoke was Elder Sheng of the celestial Ginseng tribe. The woman was called Sheng Rushuang, Elder Sheng's granddaughter. Sheng Rushuang blushed when she heard Elder Sheng's words. She said coquettishly, "Grandpa." Elder Sheng stroked his beard and laughed. In his opinion, the Holy Sun would definitely agree to choose his granddaughter as his concubine, because his granddaughter was the most compatible woman with the Holy Sun in the entire snow domain. Whether it was her appearance, family background, or talent, they were all outstanding. No woman could compare to Rushuang. In addition, the saint child had descended from the sky and had no parents or relatives. He had always respected him and would definitely not refuse. Just as Elder Sheng was thinking, Sheng Rushuang said in surprise, "Grandfather, the saint child should have arrived." Elder Sheng looked in the direction Sheng Rushuang was pointing at and saw a group of people walking over from afar. Judging from their clothes, they should be from the saint child's residence. Sheng Rushuang remembered what Elder Sheng had said earlier. She looked a little shy and looked forward to it. However, the shyness on her face soon turned into shock and disbelief. That was because she saw a monster pig standing next to the saint child. Moreover, that monster pig was actually holding the saint child's arm. What was most unbelievable to her was that the saint child would gently stroke the monster pig's hair from time to time. What was going on? Elder Sheng also frowned. Who were the people around the Holy Sun? This time, Di Baiming had only left the snow domain to familiarize himself with the southern and northern regions. While the two of them were stunned, Di Baiming had already arrived. Although Elder Sheng was shocked, he still took the lead to kneel down and bow. Di Baiming said indifferently, "Get up." "Elder Sheng, do you have something to report?" Elder Sheng remembered what he had said to Sheng Rushuang and said respectfully, "Saint Sun, why don't we go in and talk more?" Di Baiming nodded and immediately led everyone to the Saint Sun's residence's reception hall. Sheng Rushuang knew that Elder Sheng was going to talk about the consort selection. Although she was a little shy, she decided to listen to the Saint Sun. Most importantly, she wanted to know what was going on with the pig demon. When everyone arrived at the reception hall, a palace maid immediately served them tea, cakes, and other things. Then, they all left. Hei Xinjiu did not stand on ceremony. She drank tea and ate cakes at the same time. She did not treat herself as an outsider at all. But Face sat beside Hei Xinjiu. He ate the pastries with his paws while he spoke to Hei Xinjiu with his spiritual sense. "Little fairy, do you see that little bitch wearing a light pink dress? One look and you can tell that she is a flirtatious bitch. She must have designs on your Prince Charming." Hei Xinjiu chuckled and said, "It's fine if she knows what's good for her. Otherwise, HMPH. A hint of schadenfreude flashed across Buttface's eyes. He actually dared to snatch a man from the little fairy. That little bitch was really tired of living. Elder Shen glanced at Hei Xinjiu and Buttface. He frowned and suppressed the contempt in his heart. He asked, "Saint Sun, may I ask who are these people?" Di Baiming replied indifferently, "They are a few friends I met on the way back. I brought them back as soon as I saw them." Elder Sheng heaved a sigh of relief. So they were just friends. Elder Sheng decided to put Hei Xinjiu and the other three aside for the time being and said with a smile, "Holy Sun, as the saying goes, a man should marry a woman. The Holy Sun's residence can't be without a mistress all the time. Shouldn't you take in a concubine?" Chapter 4594. Her house might not have a mirror. Di Baiming nodded. Elder Sheng is right. I should choose a consort. Elder Sheng was delighted and asked, "Holy Sun, if that's the case, do you have a suitable candidate?" Di Baiming smiled, "Far away in the horizon, right in front of you." Sheng Rushuang heard this and was delighted. She lowered her head shyly. She knew that the saint child liked her. After all, in the snow domain, she was the wife that many men yearned for. Elder Sheng was even more delighted. If it weren't for his status, he would have laughed out loud. "Saint child, since you already have someone that you like, it's much easier. I think the 8th of next month is a good day. Why don't we make it the day of the wedding?" Di Baiming nodded, "Sure." Elder Sheng was even happier when he heard that. He glanced at the shy Sheng Rushuang and said, "Holy Sun, if that's the case, should we issue an imperial edict to announce it to the entire snow domain?" Di Biming nodded. Elder Sheng immediately took out a brush, ink, paper, and inkstone to draft the imperial edict. When he was about to write the Holy Sun's wife's name, Di Biming smiled and said, "Oh right, Elder Sheng, you still don't know the name of the saint child consort, do you? Her name is Zhu Xiaojiu." He Xinjiu, who was eating the pastries, glared at Di Biming fiercely. This pretty boy must have done it on purpose. However, when this guy saw the look of Elder Sheng and Xing Rushuang as if they had seen a ghost, he still thought it was quite funny. Humans had to know their own limits. Who gave them the courage to think that her pretty boy would take a fancy to that pretentious white lotus? After a long while, Elder Sheng asked with a trembling voice, "Holy Sun, you. What did you say the Holy Sun's wife's name was? Who is Zhu Xiaojiu?" Di Biming pointed at He Xinjiu, who was sipping her tea. "She is Zhu Xiaojiu, and she is the person I want to marry." Elder Sheng looked as if he had been struck by lightning. The Holy Sun wanted to marry this pig demon? Was the saint child blind? He actually chose this pig demon instead of choosing Rushuang. Xing Rushuang had an incredulous expression on her face as her body trembled slightly. Could it be that she was inferior to a pig demon? Elder Sheng's expression was ugly as if he was about to die. He gritted his teeth and said, "Saint Concubine, this saint concubine is no small matter. Zhu Xiaojiu's background is unknown, and he's a pig demon. He's really not suitable to be the saint concubine." Di Biming's tone was calm as he said, "No matter if she's a pig demon or a plant demon, my wife will only be her. If you don't want to write a decree, I'll get someone else to do it." Just when Elder Sheng was at a loss, Xing Rushuang cried out in surprise and fainted. Elder Sheng immediately threw the pen on the desk and pounced on her. Rushuang, are you okay?" "Holy Sun, Rushuang is not feeling well." "You see. In that case, please go ahead, Elder Sheng," Di Biming said indifferently. Elder Sheng immediately left with Xing Rushuang, who had fainted. He Xinjiu curled her lips and said, "It's not professional to pretend to be unconscious. How can a person who has fainted have eyelids that are still trembling? You want to snatch my man with such a trash? You're overestimating yourself. The little fairy is right. That little bitch is too ugly. She still wants to compete with you? I guess she doesn't have a mirror at home. Otherwise, how could she have the courage?" Buttface said obsequiously. Chapter 45 95-inch Son of Saint, you've changed. Upon hearing Buttface's words, Qiying spat out all the tea he had just drunk. There was definitely something wrong with this stupid dog's aesthetic judgment. The little brat's current glory was not only that of Xing Rushuang, but even any immortal ginseng tribe member was 100 times stronger than her. Buttface glared at Qiying. "You can even spit out tea when you drink it. What do you think you're capable of? You must have slept with a vixen until you became stupid." Aog jeered from the side. "Yo, that's great, Qiying. You even dare to sleep with a vixen? I didn't realize that you were so lecherous and daring." Qiying was so angry that he was trembling. "I didn't sleep with that vixen. Although she shamelessly seduced me, I didn't follow her." It was good that Qiying didn't explain. This explanation made Aog and Buttface laugh evilly. Even Chu Mo couldn't help but laugh. Qiying felt that he couldn't live like this anymore. Originally, he wanted to be a spy, but looking at his status, he was probably angered to death by these people before he could get any useful information. While they were chatting and laughing, someone came in to report, "Holy Sun, the 5 elders of the Elder Council have arrived. They said that they have something important to see you." Di Biming naturally knew that these people were called over by Elder Sheng. He said indifferently, "Let them in." A moment later, 5 old men walked in. One of them was Elder Sheng, who had returned. After the 5 people greeted each other, they looked at each other. One of the square-faced old men, Elder Shen of the Elder Council, said, "Saint Sun, we heard from Elder Sheng that you want to take this pig as your concubine." "Miss Zhu." Elder Shin had wanted to say pig demon, but he felt that it was inappropriate, so he changed his words to Miss Shu. Di Baiming nodded, that's right. I like her, so I plan to marry her as a concubine. Elder Shin frowned, Saint Sun, I'm afraid this is not suitable. This Miss Shu is really not a good match for you. Di Baiming said indifferently, I think it's quite a good match, and am also not a good match for her. Elder Shin choked. The saint child was really blind. Elder Shi saw the situation and quickly said, Saint child, I don't know if I should say anything. Di Baiming glanced at him and said coldly, since you don't know, then don't say it. Elder Shi, Saint child, you've changed. How did you become like this after a trip? As for the main concubine, I think that girl Rushuang isn't bad. Whether it's her character, appearance, or aptitude, she's a good match for you. What do you think? Di Baiming's lips curled into a light smile. Elder Xiao, do you really think Shin Rushuang isn't bad? When Elder Xiao heard this, he was instantly delighted. Did the Saint Sun change his mind? Let's see. He still had to make a move. These people could not get to the point. If the Saint's son liked Zhu Xiaojiu, then let her be a side concubine. Wouldn't everyone be happy? Elder Xiao nodded repeatedly and said with a smile, yes, I think that girl Rushuang is not bad. Di Baiming said coldly, since you think she is not bad, then you should marry her. Elder Xiao. Elder Xiao's face immediately turned red. Holy Sun, what are you talking about? He should marry her. If he dared to marry her, old man Shen would definitely kill him. Hei Xinjiu could not help but burst into laughter when she saw Elder Xiao's comical look. This laughter finally poked a hornet's nest. Elder Xiao was just about to fly into a rage from embarrassment when he immediately shouted, What are you laughing at? A girl who doesn't know how to sit or stand and is so rude, what right do you have to be the Holy Sun consort? Chapter 45-96 Suicide Threats. Hei Xinjiu had never been a person who was afraid of trouble. Previously, when she saw Di Baiming being very happy with his insults, this fellow was happy to watch the show from the side. Now that Elder Xiao was unlucky enough to provoke her, this fellow naturally would not be polite. She smiled at the furious Elder Xiao and said, Elder Xiao, you said that I don't have the qualifications, so do you have the qualifications? Elder Xiao. What did he mean by qualified? How could an old man like him be qualified to be the saint consort? He finally knew why the saint's son had become like this. It turned out that it was all because of this pig demon. Elder Xiao was so angry that he was twitching. He said angrily, You're twisting your words. Don't tell me that just because you're a woman, you're qualified to be the saint consort. People should know their own limits. You don't have good looks, you don't have good manners, and you don't have a family background. You don't deserve to be the consort of the saint child at all. Hei Xinjiu was not angry when she heard that, she chuckled and said, Elder Xiao, you are absolutely right. I don't have good looks, I don't have good manners, and I don't have a family background. But the saint child likes me and is crying that he won't marry me unless I'm the one he wants to marry. I'm also helpless. Elder Xiao and the others were almost angered to death by Hei Xinjiu's shameless scoundrel behavior. All the women of the celestial ginseng tribe that they usually met were demure and polite. They had never seen such a shameless woman before. She was even more shameless than a man. What made them even more depressed was that their holy son actually nodded approvingly when he heard the scoundrel's words. What the hell? Could it be that their saint's son had drugged this demonic pig? Otherwise, how could their aesthetic standards have been distorted to such an extent? Elder Sis' face was stern and unsmiling. It could be seen that his personality was rather old-fashioned. He did not even glance at Hei Xinjiu. Instead, he said to Di Baiming, Saint's son, logically speaking, you are the saint's son. We should support any decision you make. However, the Holy Sun's consort is no small matter. If you really marry Miss Shu, there will definitely be a lot of criticism in the snow domain. If that happens, not only will it be bad for you, but it will also put a lot of pressure on Miss Shu. Why don't we follow Elder Xiao's words and take Miss Shu as a side consort and then choose a suitable woman to be the main consort? He Xinjiu glanced at Elder Asai. This old man sure knew how to talk. Di Baiming nodded slightly. Elder Sis' words are not without reason. However, my feelings for little Jiu are deeply rooted. In my eyes, other women are no different from men. If I can't marry little Jiu, I'd rather not marry her for the rest of my life. Elder C. His expression became serious. Holy Son, marrying a wife is no child's play. You might be acting on impulse right now, but as elders, we will definitely not let you make such a big mistake. Di Baiming's expression darkened. Oh. Elder Asai, are you still trying to threaten me? Holy Son, we just don't want you to regret it in the future. Holy Son, if you don't take back your orders, this old man will commit suicide in front of you today. Elder Asai waved his right hand as he spoke, his face as if he was ready to die. He was actually going to commit suicide. He Xinjiu clicked her tongue in wonder. She didn't expect that Elder C would still act like he was going to cry, make a scene, and hang himself. However, he didn't look like he was joking. Perhaps he really was going to commit suicide. The saint child frowned. He could tell that Elder Si was not just saying that. If there was not a need for these 5 old men, he would not care whether they died or not. Chapter 4597 Agreed to the competition. Elder C, I've always respected you, but now you're threatening me with your life. Isn't that a bit too much? Di Baiming said with a dark face. Elder Si looked like he was sacrificing himself for justice and said, Holy Son, this subordinate is also forced to do this. Miss Shu really doesn't have the qualifications to become the Holy Son's consort. Di Baiming didn't say anything when he heard that. It was just that the murderous aura emitted from his body made everyone in the hall feel a lot of pressure. Elder Si and the others thought to themselves, as expected of the chosen one. It had only been a few months, but the saint child's demonic power was already so powerful. Such an outstanding saint child definitely could not be spoiled by that pig demon. For a moment, the atmosphere in the hall was very solemn. Elder Xiao's eyes flashed as he said, Saint child, how about this? Let's have a fair competition. If Miss Shu can win among the women, we will definitely not oppose you marrying her as your concubine. However, if she is eliminated, you can only take her as your concubine and marry the woman who wins. What do you think? He Xinjiu asked with a smile without waiting for Di Baiming to speak. Competition? What competition? If it's a competition of eating capacity, I'm equal to 2. Everyone, she was indeed a pig demon who only knew how to eat. He Xinjiu sighed and continued, originally, to be honest, I didn't take a fancy to your holy son, but my short temper likes to go against others. Since you guys are so against it, I will marry him. Isn't it just a competition? What's so great about it? Other than looks and talent, you can just randomly come up with a question. Eaglesnov 1, oh, wasn't beauty and talent what the consort selection valued? This pig demon had directly excluded these 2 items, so what was there to compete for? Elder Sheng's heart moved, and he gave Elder Xiao a look. Elder Xiao immediately said, Holy Son, since Miss Shu has already agreed to compete, then well go back and prepare. Di Baiming nodded. Alright, then you will follow little Jiu's instructions. The set of questions cannot include the competition of looks and talent. After Elder Xiao and the others responded, they left. Aog curled his lips and thought to himself, this Di Baiming even said how good he was to little Jiu. Didn't he compromise in the end? However, he only thought about it in his heart and did not have the courage to say it out loud. Di Baiming seemed to have guessed his thoughts and explained, the immortal ginseng tribe protects a secret of the demon ancestor, and this secret is in a cave. In the past, only after the Holy Sons got married were they qualified to get the jade token to enter the cave. That jade token was divided into 5 pieces, and each elder has 1 piece. Although Di Biming didn't say it clearly, everyone understood what he meant. If Yun Chujo couldn't get the approval of the Elders Guild, they probably wouldn't have given the jade token in their hands to Di Biming. Although Di Biming was a saint child, the 5 elders were deeply rooted in the snow domain. Forcefully snatching it would not work. That was why he agreed to let He Xinjiu participate in the competition. What he had done before was nothing more than to make the 5 elders take a step back and give Yun Chujo a fair chance to compete. Prince Charming, does that cave have something to do with the way we left this place, or does it have something to do with the big brick? He Xinjiu asked excitedly. As for the competition, it was not in her consideration at all. What a joke! Which competition didn't she take first place in? Chapter 4598, Preparations before the competition. I heard that a few months ago, there was a strange movement in the cave. The guards said that they saw a large brick being sucked in. Everyone thought that the guards were seeing things, but I felt that there was a high chance that the large brick was really sucked into the cave. As for what is inside the cave, no one knows because only the previous saints have the right to enter. Di Biming said. Yun Chujo stood up excitedly. It must be the big brick. After all, those guards couldn't make up a big brick even if they made up a lie. After we get married, we'll immediately save the big brick and then think of a way to leave this damn place. Aog immediately poured cold water on this guy. Little Joe, don't forget, you have to get first place in the competition before you can get married. Those old men obviously don't have good intentions. The questions designed will definitely be disadvantageous to you. Can you do it? Brain-dead Fan Buttface immediately jumped out to retort, can you please remove the word can? When has a little fairy not been able to do it? A group of flirtatious bitches still want to compete with a little fairy? A little fairy can beat them even with her eyes closed. The corner of Aoj's mouth twitched. There really was a like owner, there really was a like dog. Qiying did not utter a single word. At this moment, he was feeling conflicted. On one hand, he felt that if Yun Chujo lost, Di Biming might really marry someone else as his concubine because of the pressure. If that was the case, based on this wretched girl's temper, she would definitely cause a huge ruckus. Perhaps, she might even hate Di Biming because of love. Eaglesnov 1, oh Prince Charming, I reckon those old men will need a few days to prepare for the competition. Your Saint Child's residence has a library, right? I'll go in and study hard for a few days. I might be able to use it during the competition, He Xinjiu said. Although this fellow had a mysterious confidence, he would still make the necessary preparations. Otherwise, it would not be called confidence but arrogance. Di Biming nodded. After settling Aog and the other two, he brought He Xinjiu and Buttface into the Saint Child's residence's library. There were many books in the library. Even if He Xinjiu had a photographic memory, it was impossible for her to read all of them. He Xinjiu could not help but frown. At this moment, Buttface said eagerly, Little fairy, I can help you read some of them. Anyway, our spiritual senses are connected. I will tell you when the time comes. He Xinjiu's eyes lit up. Although Buttface's memory was a little worse than hers, it was still very good. With Buttface's help, they had more confidence. Immediately, the master and pet duo began to flip through the books. If outsiders thought that these two guys were just playing around, they wouldn't know that they had already memorized all the contents after flipping through them. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. In these 10 days, the people of the Elder Council had already held the preliminary selection of the Consort Selection Assembly and selected 100 outstanding women. Naturally, Shen Rushuang was among them. She secretly made up her mind. That pig demon could not be compared to her at all. This time, the champion of the Consort Selection Assembly would definitely be her. Only she had the qualifications to become the Saint Child Consort. On this day, the Consort Selection Convention officially began. The entire Imperial City had gathered at the Consort Selection Convention's location. There were even people who had come to line up in the middle of the night in order to seize an advantageous position. There were many influential families among them. Their motives were very direct. These women were all selected from layers upon layers. They could help the unmarried juniors in the family select suitable wives. Chapter 45-99 The older the wiser. When Hei Xinjiu arrived at the consort selection convention, she was really shocked. There were too many people. It was not an exaggeration to describe it as a sea of people. The people of the immortal ginseng tribe really loved to join in the fun. The moment Di Baiming appeared, everyone present knelt down and bowed. Di Baiming sat in the main seat of the VIP seats under everyone's gaze. AOG and the other two also sat in the VIP seats. But Face also got a special seat. He took out a piece of meat and started to eat it. Only when he was full would he have the strength to help, right? Hei Xinjiu slowly stepped onto the high platform. The high platform was quite large. Not to mention 100 people, even a few hundred people were very spacious on it. Shen Rushuang and the others were already waiting on the platform. When they saw Hei Xinjiu who was late, their eyes were full of contempt and dissatisfaction. The people below the platform were discussing among themselves, "Do you see that? It's that pig demon. The Holy Sun said that he wouldn't marry anyone other than her. Did she poison him? Forget it. The Holy Sun is the chosen one. How could he be schemed against by a pig demon? Maybe the Holy Sun likes black ones and pig-nosed ones." Nonsense. The saint child was not mentally ill. How could he like a pig demon? It must be a rumor. No matter what, only the winner of this consort selection convention will be the saint child consort. Let's wait and see. As the matter was of great importance, Elder Shao was the host of the consort selection convention. He coughed twice and said, "Silence. Silence. The first round of the consort selection convention is about to begin." Everyone quickly quieted down and stared at Elder Shao with widened eyes. They had already heard that the consort selection convention was not about looks or talent. What else could it be compared to? They were really curious. Seeing that everyone had quieted down, Elder Shao slowly said, "If you want to become the Holy Sun consort, then you must know the situation of the Snow Domain and the immortal Ginseng tribe like the back of your hand. Therefore, the first round of the test is a common sense test. The top 50 with high scores will enter the second round, and the rest of the candidates will be eliminated." After Elder Shao finished speaking, he glanced at the women who were participating in the test. When he saw Hei Xinjiu, his eyes flashed with a hint of schadenfreude. The content of the test was discussed by the people of the Elder Council. It was aimed at this pig demon. Even though the saint's son might have told her some common sense, there were 100 questions on the test paper. It was impossible for her to get into the top 50 no matter what. Elder Shao saw Yun Chujiu frown, and he was even more delighted. If it weren't for the wrong occasion, he would have laughed out loud. At this time, a maid had already started to distribute the test paper, and the women who were participating began to answer the questions. The crowd below the stage, who were watching the show, naturally did not sit idle. One by one, they began to chatter. Only the top 50 will be able to enter the second round, and 50 people will be eliminated in the first round. The competition is too intense. Of course. This is the selection of the Saint Child consort. Of course, the best of the best will be chosen. I think that pig demon will be eliminated in the first round. She is not from our celestial ginseng tribe, so she will definitely not be able to answer many questions. That's for sure. Didn't you see that pig demon did not write for a long time? She must not know anything. It's really hilarious. A pig demon still wants to become the Saint Child consort. Shameless. Elder Shao also noticed that Hei Xinjiu was sitting there in a daze. She didn't even write a word. He was secretly delighted. The older the ginger, the spicier it was. This pig demon would be eliminated very soon. Chapter 4600 Wrongly Judged. On the VIP seats, Elder Sheng and the others looked at each other with a smug look on their faces. Although the process was a little tortuous, he had achieved his wish no matter what. Aog and Chu Mo looked worried. They knew that He Xinjiu had been reading in the library for the past few days, but how many books could she read in 10 days? The questions on the test paper were probably ones that she had never read before. Qi Ying also looked worried. He had thought it through. No matter what, he had to leave the demon region first. Therefore, he was now full of hope that Yun Chujiu could win the final championship. Seeing He Xinjiu staring blankly, he was so angry that he was twitching. Aren't you exaggerating? Why are you cowardly now? He glared at Buttface, who was gnawing on the bone. Didn't you say that the smelly girl was omnipotent? Why didn't you say it now? Buttface threw the bone he had finished gnawing at Qi Ying and said calmly, "What's the hurry?" The little fairy thought that answering too quickly would make others feel inferior, so she didn't start answering the questions. Qi Ying snorted coldly and was about to refute, but He Xinjiu had already picked up the pen and started answering the questions quickly. He was skeptical of Buttface's words. In his opinion, Yun Chujiu saw that the time was almost up, so she started to answer the questions randomly. Since they were all multiple-choice questions, he could just randomly tick them. Qi Ying's thoughts were also the thoughts of most people. They all thought that He Xinjiu had chosen randomly and would definitely be eliminated. When the time was up, a maid took the examination papers and had 20 examiners read them on the spot. These examiners were all highly respected people and would not be suspected of favoritism or fraud. Moreover, the names of the examiners had been covered up, so they did not know who they were judging. As they were all multiple-choice questions, a person only needed to read 5 papers and the results would be out in less than 15 minutes. Mu Wu, 72 points, Bai Ziyue, 58 points, Su Yan 62 points, Len Yao, 65 points. These people's scores were not too high, which was within the expectations of the Elder Council. Because they had to ensure that He Xinjiu was eliminated, the questions were very difficult. 70 points was considered a high score. Elder Xiao's eyes lit up as he read, and he slightly raised his voice. Shen Rushuang got 85 points. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. Shen Rushuang was indeed the #1 talented woman in the snow domain. She actually got 85 points for such a difficult question. One had to know that the highest score before her was only 75 points. Shen Rushuang did not look pleased with herself, and everyone praised her even more when they saw her. Shen Rushuang glanced at He Xinjiu, who was not far away. Seeing her absent-minded look, she snorted in her heart. She was just a clown. Even if this pig demon became a concubine, she had many ways to deal with her. Elder Xiao continued to announce the results. Yi Qin has 67 points, Peng Yulian has 59 points, Zhu Xiaojiu has 1. Everyone looked at each other. Why was Elder Xiao still stuttering? Or did Zhu Xiaojiu only score 1 point? After Elder Xiao scored 1 for a long time, he shouted in exasperation, "Who was the judge of this paper? Did he make a mistake?" Chapter 46:01. Following Elder Xiao's words, an old man with white hair said, "Elder Xiao, I judged this paper. I checked it 3 times and there's no problem." Elder Xiao snorted. "You must have made a mistake. You guys come over and check it." The few people Elder Xiao pointed at studied the paper for a long time before he stammered, "Elder Xiao, there's no problem with this paper. It's all correct. It's 100 points." This time, both on and off the stage exploded. "Oh my god, did I hear wrong?" He said 100 points. That Bauerschwein got 100 points. More than Shen Rushuang. No wonder Elder Xiao took so long. It's 100 points. This is unbelievable. Maybe that Bauerschwein is lucky. Anyway, it's a multiple choice question. She got it right as soon as she guessed it. You're right. She's completely blind. The person who came up with the question is the same. What multiple choice questions? Isn't this giving her a chance to take advantage of the loophole? Elder Xiao and the others also felt that He Xinjiu was lucky. They regretted it so much that their intestines turned green. If they had known earlier, they would have come up with the question and answer questions. However, the result was already out. They couldn't deny it, so Elder Xiao had no choice but to read it again reluctantly. 100 points for Zhu Xiaojiu. Xing Rushuang's expression was a little ugly, but she consoled herself. That pig demon had just gotten lucky. The next round would be a question and answer contest, and she would definitely be eliminated. After Elder Xiao read out everyone's results, the woman at the back had no choice but to step down from the stage sadly. Elder Xiao braced himself and began to announce the rules for the second round. The second round will be a scramble for answers. There will be a total of 100 scramble questions. Each person will have 10 points at the beginning. 1 point will be added to each correct answer. 1 point will be deducted if they make a mistake. In the end, the top 20 will advance and the rest will be eliminated. After seeing that everyone had no objections, he began to ask the questions. How many people are there in the immortal ginseng tribe? Begin. The demonic power ball on Xing Rushuang's table lit up, indicating that she was the first to snatch it. She said softly, there are a total of 309,865 people in the immortal ginseng tribe. Among them, there are 169,700 men and 140,165 women. The audience immediately burst into enthusiastic applause. One did not need to hear the answer to know that what she said was right. If she did not have such confidence, she would not have deliberately said the number of men and women. In the following period of time, there was a chaotic battle. There were correct answers and wrong answers. Only He Xinjiu sat there calmly as if nothing had happened. Everyone shook their heads. This pig demon definitely did not know anything. She was definitely going to be eliminated in this round. Very soon, Elder Xiao had already read out 70 questions. Xing Rushuang had snatched 15 of them and answered all of them correctly. Her result was far ahead. Elder Xiao was very satisfied with the result. He took out the 71st question and asked, how many surnames are there in the immortal ginseng tribe? Begin. No one expected that the demonic energy ball on He Xinjiu's table would light up this time. He Xinjiu said in annoyance, ouch. I accidentally bumped into it. Elder Xiao sneered. Even if you accidentally bumped into it, it still counts. Zhu Xiaojiu will lose 1 point. Wait a minute, I didn't say that I don't know how to do it. Isn't it just asking the immortal ginseng tribe about the number of surnames? What's so difficult about that? Let me count. Sheng, Xiao, Bai. Elder Xiao almost burst into laughter when he saw He Xinjiu counting with her fingers. Chapter 4602 was right again. Elder Xiao glared at He Xinjiu, thinking that she would probably count until the sky turned dark if she continued counting like this. Zhu Xiaojiu, if you don't answer, even if you can't answer. He Xinjiu blinked. Forget it. I'll just randomly guess one. There are 38 surnames in total. Elder Xiao. How was that possible? How did she get it right? However, he could not openly cheat, so he could only say, correct. Zhu Xiaojiu adds 1 point. He Xinjiu revealed an ecstatic expression. What? I got it right just by casually saying it. Oh God, my luck is too good. Elder Xiao, you came up with this question, didn't you? You really came up with it with great skill. Elder Xiao almost spat out a mouthful of blood. It just so happened that he was the one who came up with this question. He consoled himself that it didn't matter even if she got 1 right. Not to mention 1, even if she got 3 right, she might not be able to advance. Moreover, it was impossible for her to get it right all the time. Therefore, he steadied his mind and read out the 72nd question. How many kinds of herbs are there in the snow domain? Begin. Xing Rushuang hurriedly pressed the demonic power ball on her table, but it did not light up. This meant that someone had pressed the demonic power ball ahead of her. Shen Rushuang looked around and found that He Xinjia's demonic power ball had lit up again. He Xinjiu shrugged. "Io, why is this ball lit up again?" "Forget it, since it's lit up, it'll just randomly guess." 9,000. Elder Xiao was still a little worried, but when he heard He Xinjiu say 9,000, he immediately sneered in his heart. There were only 520 kinds of herbs in the snow domain, so this pig demon must have answered incorrectly. He was just happy when he heard He Xinjiu say, 9,000, no, there shouldn't be so many. "Forget it, in order to express my love for the Holy Sun, I'll answer 520 kinds. It just so happens to be 520. I love you, hee hee." Firstly, he was shocked by He Xinjia's shamelessness, and secondly, he couldn't believe that he could get it right like this. Some of the audience below the stage knew the answer and clicked their tongues in wonder. This pig demon really got it right. Although she's quite shameless, isn't her luck too good? She got it right just by randomly guessing. These two questions are simple, and the answers are both numbers, so she got it right by sheer luck. It's impossible that the questions after that are all like this. She still has to be eliminated. Elder Xiao gritted his teeth and said, "Correct." Zhu Xiaojiu adds 1 point. He looked at the next question in his hand and thought that the pig demon would definitely not be able to answer this question. Besides, she might not be able to snatch it. What is the accompanying herb of the ice lotus? Begin. Shen Rushuang quickly pressed on the demonic power ball, but it did not light up again. She glanced around in exasperation and realized that the demonic power ball on He Xinjia's table had lit up again. I didn't accidentally bump into it this time. I know the answer to this question. When the Lord fed me lotus seed porridge 2 days ago, he specially told me about the accompanying herb of the ice lotus. He Xinjia's words immediately attracted a lot of jealousy. What? The Holy Sun fed the pig demon with lotus seed porridge? How could the pig demon allow the Holy Sun to feed her with his own hands? Did she not have her own hands? This was too much. At this moment, He Xinjiu stomped her feet and said shyly, how did I slip up? Damn it. Fortunately, I didn't say that the Holy Sun fed me with his mouth. It's so embarrassing. Chapter 4603 Showing Affection Snap. He Xinjia's words caused Elder Xiao to fall down as he wished. Using her mouth to feed her. Wasn't it just a kiss? Holy Sun. You actually kissed such a black face with a pig's nose? Aren't you afraid of having nightmares? Shen Rushuang's face instantly flushed red. She was angry and resentful. If it weren't for the inappropriate situation, she would have wanted to go up and strangle He Xinjiu, who was pretending to be shy. He Xinjiu was secretly happy in her heart. Little brat, can't you all die of anger? And you still want to covet the pretty boy. You're courting death. Elder Xiao stood up in a sorry state and said angrily, Zhu Xiaojiu, don't talk nonsense. Answer the question quickly, or you'll lose points. Alright, I'll answer now. The accompanying herb of the ice lotus is the purple stamen lantern flower. Am I right? He Xinjiu said with a smile. Elder Xiao said with a stiff face, correct. Give Zhu Xiaojiu 1 point. Great. I got 13 points. I should be able to advance by answering a few more questions correctly. Elder Xiao, don't waste your time. Quickly come up with the questions. He Xinjiu urged. Elder Xiao was so angry that he almost died. Who was the one wasting time? He took a deep breath and said loudly, the immortal ginseng tribe has a kind of ice silkworm. The silk it spits out can be made into a kind of high-grade cloth. What is this kind of cloth called? Begin. I know the answer. He Xinjiu raised her hand and shouted. Elder Xiao really wanted to stop He Xinjiu from answering, but the demonic power ball on her table lit up, and he could not refuse. However, on second thought, if she answered incorrectly, she would lose points. It might not be a bad thing for her to get it. Therefore, he said, Zhu Xiaojiu, answer. He Xinjiu took out a stack of handkerchiefs from her storage ring. It's snow silk brocade. See? These handkerchiefs are made of snow silk brocade. The Holy Sun knows that I like to eat snacks and fruits, so he prepared so many handkerchiefs for me to wipe my mouth with. Elder Shao felt his head hurt a little when he saw He Xinjia's boisterous expression. Could this pig demon be sincere? Otherwise, how could it be so coincidental that she could get every question right? The most infuriating thing was that she was actually showing off her affection in public. This was too shameless. Regardless of whether it was the women on the stage or the women below the stage, their hearts were all shattered. When they thought about how the Holy Sun was actually so gentle to this pig demon, they were in so much pain that they wished they were dead. That was their Holy Sun. How could he do such a passionate thing to a pig demon? Xing Rushuang's face was twisted with jealousy and hatred. This damn pig demon. She must have used some underhanded means to seduce the Holy Sun. Otherwise, the Holy Sun would not have taken a fancy to her. Elder Shao finally calmed down and continued to ask questions. However, He Xinjiu had snatched 4 questions in a row. What was even more infuriating was that not only did she get all the answers right, but she also showed her affection for each question she answered. The girls were almost angered to death. He Xinjiu looked at her score and said with a smile, I've already scored 18 points. I'll definitely be able to advance. You guys can compete for the remaining questions. I'll just watch the show. Elder Shao was furious. His heart moved. He had to think of a way to let Zhu Xiaojiu continue to compete for the answers. As long as she answered a few wrong questions, she would be eliminated. Therefore, he said to the contestants, this round's ranking will affect the next round. The higher the ranking, the more advantageous the next round will be. So, you have to go all out to avoid missing the opportunity. Chapter 4604, Man and Dog as One, Invincible in the World. He Xinjia's eyes lit up immediately when she heard that. There's such a saying. Then I won't be polite. Elder Shao sneered in his heart. I was afraid that you would be polite. Let's see if you will still be smug after you answer the wrong question and get eliminated. Elder Shao took out the question and read it. How many miles is it from the southernmost end to the northernmost end of the celestial ginseng tribe? Begin. The demonic power ball on He Xinjia's table lit up again, and the fellow said with a grin, 305,000 miles. This is what the Holy Sun told me. The Holy Sun said that when we get married in the future, he will accompany me to walk every inch of the snow domain, leaving behind traces of our love. Although everyone was already numb to this fellow's display of affection, they could not help but feel envious and jealous when they heard this fellow's words. The saint was too romantic. It was just a pity that this romance was only directed at this pig demon. It was really too heartbreaking. Xing Rushuang's hands were tightly clenched under her sleeves. She didn't even notice that her fingernails had sunk into her flesh. Why? Elder Shao announced with a stiff expression, correct. Zhu Xiaojiu adds 1 point. Next question. What made Elder Shao furious was that He Xinjiu had snatched all the remaining questions and answered all of them correctly. In the end, He Xinjiu obtained 40 points and won the first place in the second round of the test. Xing Rushuang obtained the second place with 35 points. One could imagine how depressed she was. Elder Shao felt terrible. He had originally wanted He Xinjiu to snatch a few more questions. If she had answered incorrectly, she would not have been able to advance. But now, not only did she fail to eliminate this pig demon, she even got the first place. What the hell? Some of the questions were very difficult, and even he might not be able to answer them, but this pig demon could actually answer them correctly. Elder Shao even suspected that someone had leaked the questions. Otherwise, how could this pig demon answer all the questions correctly? What made him even angrier was that the rest of them were all dead people. How could that pig demon have all the right to answer the questions? A bunch of trash. Shen Rushuang and the others were even more stifled. They had clearly tried their best to snatch the questions, but how could that pig demon have gotten the first place every time? They did not know that He Xinjiu had not answered the questions previously because she was studying the demonic power ball on the table. According to the rules, the demonic power ball would light up after the contestants injected their demonic power into the demonic power ball. Once the demonic power ball lit up, the others' demonic power balls would not light up again. This guy soon figured out the loophole. As long as she got a chance to make the demonic power ball light up, she would not withdraw all the demonic power, but leave a trace of weak demonic power. When she continued to answer the questions, she only needed to strengthen her demonic power. No one would be able to snatch the right to answer the questions. This fellow felt that he was awesome. It was a piece of cake to torture these ginseng people to death. In the VIP seats, Buttface raised the meat bone in his hand and waved it crazily at He Xinjiu on the stage. He said with his spiritual sense, "Little fairy, how is it? I told you. We are one with the dog and invincible." He Xinjiu, why does it sound so awkward? However, some of the questions were really given to her by Buttface. She had to admit that Buttface had rendered meritorious service this time. 30 people were eliminated in the second round, and only 20 people were left on the stage. Chapter 4605 was for the examiners. Elder Xiao took out a few pills and swallowed them. He had no choice. If he did not take some pills that could calm his mind, he felt that he could no longer continue hosting. He was so angry that he was going to die. He Xinjiu looked at him coldly and cursed in her heart. Damn it! I told you to be blind. I should have angered you to death. When Elder Xiao thought of the third round's questions, he suddenly felt that his confidence had returned. This time, that pig demon would definitely be eliminated. There was no suspense at all. He cleared his throat and said, "Everyone, the Saint Consort is going to help the Saint Consort manage the snow domain. Therefore, the content of this round's competition will test each contestant's understanding and positioning of the Saint Consort, as well as their plans for the future. Each contestant's speaking time is half an hour. After each contestant's speech, the 20 examiners on the stage will grade them. The 10 people with the highest scores will advance, and the remaining 10 will be eliminated. You have 1 hour to prepare. The order of the competition will start from the 20th place." The crowd finally understood why Elder Xiao had said that the results of the second round of the competition would have an impact on the third round. There was no doubt that the people who would give speeches later would have more time to prepare. Moreover, they could also learn from the experience and shortcomings of the previous contestants. In addition, the judges would usually not give too high a score in the beginning. The later the order, the more advantageous it would be. The contestants immediately began to prepare. Basically, they would take out a pen and paper to briefly list out a few key points so that they could be organized when they spoke. Shen Rushuang thought of this and snorted coldly. She concentrated on preparing her speech. He Xinjiu leaned back on the chair and crossed her legs as she began to give the 20 examiners a face-to-face meeting. The 20 examiners were scared stiff by this guy's gaze. What did this pig demon mean? Could it be that she was planning to threaten them? What a joke. They were the most fair and selfless. How could they be threatened by a pig demon like her? However, although they said that, they still felt a little scared after being observed by this guy with a sinister smile. What did this pig demon want to do? Fortunately, after He Xinjiu looked at these people a few times, she sat there lazily and basked in the sun. It was as if she was not here to participate in the competition, but rather, to go on an outing. The audience below the stage pointed at He Xinjiu. Do you see that? That pig demon has already given up. How can she not give up? Let's not talk about whether she has the ink or not. Even if she talks like a flower in the sky, the 20 examiners will not give her high marks. This pig demon will definitely be eliminated. Damn it! calling her to show off her affection. Doesn't she know that showing off affection can die quickly? Aog and the others in the VIP seats looked worried. Although they were not worried about He Xinjia's glib tongue, the 20 examiners had the right to rate her. No matter how well she said it, it was useless. But Face was the only one who looked calm and composed. He said casually, "What are you afraid of? The little fairy is invincible in every battle. Don't worry about this useless heart of yours." Qi Ying laughed coldly in his heart. This stupid dog was an idiot. He reckoned that when that wretched girl said that the sun was square, it also thought that it was right. An hour passed very quickly. Elder Shao motioned for the woman in the 20th position to begin her speech. Chapter 4606 Zhu Xiaojiu, it's your turn. The woman walked to the center of the stage and began to give a speech. These women were all chosen from thousands of people. Their families were all very good, and most of them were the firstborn daughters of their families. It was not a problem for them to give such a speech. The woman was obviously trying to be steady. Therefore, although what she said was not very exciting, it was still considered normal. What she said was that if she became the Saint Sun's consort, she would definitely become the Saint Sun's good wife, so that the saint would have no worries. Most of the 20 examiners gave 7 points, and only a few gave 8 points. In the end, the woman's total score was 143 points. The woman breathed a sigh of relief. Although her score was not too high, it was still within expectations. Next, everyone gave their speeches in turn. Although a few people got less points because they were too nervous, the others still finished their speeches smoothly. Soon, it was Sheng Rushuang's turn. Sheng Rushuang walked lightly to the center of the high platform. Before she said anything, her bearing alone made the crowd applaud. As expected of the number one talented woman in the snow domain. Looking at her bearing, it was obvious that she was a model of motherhood. Sheng Rushuang nodded slightly and said in a gentle voice, "Ever since I was young, the elders in my family have taught Rushuang to put the big picture first and put the interests of the Ginseng tribe first. Therefore, I have the honor to become the saint consort. I will put everyone's interests first." Sheng Rushuang's voice was very gentle and pleasant to the ears. In addition, her gentle image was deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. Everyone nodded repeatedly and felt that it was much better than what the previous people had said. At the end of her speech, Sheng Rushuang raised her voice slightly and said, "Fellow clansmen, we are of the same origin and root. If I have the honor of becoming the saint consort, I will definitely seek for the well-being of everyone and let everyone live a happier life. Thank you, everyone." Hearing that they were of the same origin, the crowd immediately felt a sense of agreement and began clapping enthusiastically. Sheng Rushuang nodded slightly in greeting and then returned to her seat. Elder Sheng stroked his beard and his eyes were filled with pride. Rushuang had been carefully nurtured by the Sheng family. The other women could not compare to her at all. The 20 examiners on the stage also felt that Sheng Rushuang's speech was very good. Most of them scored 9 points, and 2 of them even scored 10 points. Sheng Rushuang finally scored 182 points, a full 20 points more than the second place. It could be said that she was far ahead. When Aog and the other two saw that it was He Xinjia's turn soon, they immediately became nervous. To be honest, they really did not have any confidence. But they could not use their strength. They could not go up and force those examiners to give high marks, right? Elder Shao was overjoyed. It was almost time for the pig demon to make a fool of himself. It was so satisfying. He suppressed the excitement in his heart and said, "Zhu Xiaojiu, it's your turn to give a speech. Let's begin." Her sloppy manner was even better than Elder Shao's, let alone Sheng Rushuang's. The crowd burst into an uproar. "Get off! Get off now! We don't want to listen to your nonsense. That's right, get off now. You're not qualified to be the saint consort. Yes, we won't let a pig demon become the crown prince's consort." Sheng Rushuang's eyes flashed with pride when she saw this. These people were all arranged by her. As long as there were people heckling her, those stupid people would certainly follow. Although they couldn't really chase this pig demon away, it would disturb her mind and might even forget her speech completely. Chapter 4607, Evil for the Concubine. Hei Shinjo listened to those people's curses as if she did not hear them. She looked at those people who were heckling her with a smile that was not a smile. At first, those people were still scolding enthusiastically, but after a long time, they felt a little embarrassed. This was like using all the strength in your body, but hitting a ball of cotton. It was very aggrieved. Elder Shao then pretended to let some guards maintain order. However, after this incident, the audience and the judges on the stage were no longer in the mood to listen to Hei Shinjo. It was because they disliked her from the bottom of their hearts. Elder Shao said impatiently, "Zhu Xiaojiu, you can start now." Hei Shinjo nodded and said clearly, indifferent from the other contestants. "My speech has a resounding name." Everyone pursed their lips. It was useless to talk about a resounding name. No matter how resounding the name was, it was useless. No matter how good-hearted she was, they would not buy it. However, the crowd stretched their necks and waited for a long time, but they did not hear Hei's injurious words. This time, the crowd exploded again. Could it be that this pig demon had forgotten her lines due to nervousness? Ha ha ha, there would be a good show to watch this time. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, Elder Shao frowned and said, "Zhu Xiaojiu, why haven't you started yet? If you continue to dawdle, 15 minutes will be up." Hei Shinjo grinned and said, "My question is, silence is better than sound at this moment. It can also be understood as silence is golden." What the hell? Everyone was speechless. Was this pig demon playing around? Elder Shao was about to speak when Hei Shinjo spread her hands. "It's just a joke. The time before doesn't count. I haven't officially started yet. Come, let's start the timer now. I'm going to give an official speech." Elder Shao did not agree on purpose, but he thought that he did not stop those people from causing trouble in time. If he refused, this pig demon might cause a ruckus. Therefore, he said with a dark face, "All right, the time will start now. You can start now." Hei Shinjo cleared her throat and said clearly, "The title of my speech is, Do Evil for the Concubine. As the name implies, I became the saint concubine to do evil things." Only then did the crowd burst into an uproar. "What? I told you that this pig demon had no good intentions, didn't I? Sure enough, listen to what she said. She just wanted to use the name of the saint concubine to do evil things. This Bauerschwein is too bad. I've never seen such a bad person. She actually said openly that she wanted to do bad things. No matter what, she can't let such a person become the saint child consort. Yes, we definitely don't agree to let this pig demon become the Holy Son's consort." This time, there was no need for Sheng Rushuang to arrange people to guide public opinion. Everyone wanted to kick Hei Shinjo out of the stage on their own accord. They were all filled with righteous indignation and wished that they could slap Hei Shinjo to death. Aog immediately stood up. Little Jiu had always been very smart. What happened today? Could it be that she had lost her mind? Qi-ying also frowned. Although he felt relieved after seeing Hei Shinjo make a fool of herself, he still had to rely on Hei Shinjo to bring him out of the demon territory. Chu Mo was also very anxious. Her face was full of worry. Only Di Baiming remained calm, as if nothing had happened. But Face looked at Qi-ying and the other two contemptuously. What's the hurry? The little fairy must have her reasons for saying that. Just wait for the good show. Chapter 4608. So what if he was cursed for the rest of his life? Elder Shao finally managed to calm everyone down. He wondered if the pig demon had taken the wrong medicine. Why did he dig a hole for himself? Sheng Rushuang sneered in her heart. A pig demon was indeed a pig demon. It was indeed a pig brain. Seeing that everyone had quieted down, Hei Shinjo said unhurriedly, let me repeat myself. I became the saint concubine to do bad things. I can understand your anger. After all, I didn't make myself clear. The bad thing I'm talking about is not a bad thing that harms the natural order. It's an errand that offends people. Although the saint child has a special status, some things are not easy to say or do. As the saint child's consort, I naturally have to come out and play the role of the bad guy. I'm the saint child's consort to do the things that offend people and the things that are difficult and unrewarding. Everyone was instantly stunned. They didn't expect that the pig demon would actually mean such a bad thing. They had to say that the last sentence shocked everyone. Compared to what the previous people said, the pig demon's words actually made people understand her true feelings toward the saint's son. Yun Chujo paused for a moment and continued, I'm not afraid of being criticized, I'm not afraid of being criticized by thousands of people, and I'm also not afraid of being said that I'm not worthy of the saint child. As long as I have a clear conscience, as long as we truly love each other, all obstacles will become the cornerstone of our happiness. It's not that I don't know how to be graceful and elegant, but the saint child likes my true nature. Do you want a fake saint child consort, or a sincere saint child consort? Do you want a saint child consort who plans for your family, or a saint child consort who doesn't have a family and puts the saint child first? Do you want a saint child consort who only knows how to speak beautiful words but doesn't do practical things, or do you want a saint child consort who doesn't care about her image and is willing to be a bad person? This concludes my speech. Thank you, everyone. After Yun Chujo finished speaking, the entire place was dead silent. No one spoke. This was because Yun Chujia's last 3 questions had changed something in their hearts. Yes, Sheng Rushuang and the others were indeed elegant and noble, but what did this have to do with them? Sheng Rushuang and the others all had a big family behind them. No matter who was in power, the first person they would think of would definitely be their family. How could they think of ordinary people like them? Besides, this pig demon would rather bear a bad name than help the saint child. This showed how sincere the saint child was. Elder Shao was a little dumbfounded. He never thought that He Xinjiu would say such a thing. Not to mention the people below, he was also a little persuaded. Although Sheng Rushuang was good, she was still part of the Sheng family. If she became the saint child's consort, wouldn't old man Sheng be above the 4 of them? He quickly despised himself. The saint consort was of great importance, so how could he consider some personal benefits? He must have been bewitched by this pig demon. Elder Shao was about to let the reviewing officer show the results when someone below began to clamor, everyone, don't be bewitched by the pig demon's words. His words are quite nice, and he even said that he knows all manners and all demure and elegant things. Bah! If you have the ability, then show it to us. Someone immediately echoed, right, what kind of ability is just talking and not practicing? If you can't do it, then it means that everything you said is a lie, and that you're lying to us. Chapter 4609, Manners and Manners. The people who were making a racket were naturally Sheng Rushuang's people. With them taking the lead, the others also started to make a racket. What a joke! What manners and manners could a pig demon or a black pig demon have? What elegance could they have? They were almost fooled by this pig demon. Sheng Rushuang glanced at He Xinjiu, who was beside her, with contempt, and sneered in her heart. Let's see how you can continue pretending. Elder Shao was about to stop the crowd from making a ruckus when He Xinjiu chuckled and said, since you all want to see it, I'll show you. Yun Chujo slowly walked out of the crowd as she spoke. Everyone's eyes immediately widened and they could not believe their own eyes. She was clearly still the same pig demon. She was clearly still ugly, but why was her aura different? If Sheng Rushuang's bearing could be said to be the queen of a country, then this pig demon's bearing could be said to be the queen of a country. Her ancestor. There was no comparison at all, okay? This pig demon's bearing was natural, and it carried an air of nobility that made people submit to her. On the other hand, Sheng Rushuang's nobility was put on display. This difference was like a beautiful peony and a pretentious little wild flower. Yun Chuzhou walked to the center of the high platform and said with a chuckle, "How is it? Do you think it's okay? Do you know why I didn't show this side of myself in the beginning? Because I treat you all as my family. Why do you need to act pretentious in front of your family? Why do you need to put on an act?" When the crowd saw He Xinjiu, who was smiling sweetly, they felt that He Xinjiu on the platform was not that ugly, especially her eyes that were as bright as the stars, which made her stand out. He Xinjiu turned her head to look at the 20 examiners and nodded slightly. She said, "Since all of you are able to become the judges of the consort selection assembly, you must be highly respected people. I believe that all of you will not do anything to disappoint the saint child." The 20 examiners looked at each other. To be honest, some of them were still hesitating at this moment. Although this pig demon had made them look at him in a new light, wasn't it inappropriate for a pig demon to become the saint child's consort? At this moment, He Xinjia's aura suddenly changed from grace and nobility to coldness and sternness. Elder Shao, who was closest to her, could not help but shiver. If it were not for his strong demonic power, he might have staggered. The 20 examiners were also somewhat nervous. They did not know why He Xinjia's aura had suddenly changed. He Xinjiu curled the corners of her lips. "Finally, I want to tell you something. When I participated in a competition, someone shamelessly gave me a low score. Guess what happened to him after that?" Yun Chuzhou did not continue speaking. Instead, she slowly returned to the team. Since the saint child was so fond of this pig demon, even if she could not become a concubine, she would still be a side concubine. Wouldn't it be easy for a beloved concubine to deal with them? Even if they didn't care, they still had family. Forget it, let her pass the test. Anyway, there were still tests to come, and she might not be able to win. Moreover, they felt that even if they gave a high score, it wouldn't affect anything. Perhaps others would give a low score. Therefore, when Elder Shao asked everyone to show their scores, the 20 examiners all gave 10 points without exception. Elder Shao looked at the 10 points and felt as if he was dreaming. Chapter 46:10, Shen Rushuang. After a while, Elder Shao said with difficulty, "Zhu Xiaojiu, 200 points, full score." There was sparse applause from below the stage. Some people had already accepted He Xinjiu. Although most people still felt that it was not appropriate for a pig demon to be the saint concubine, they did not reject her as much as before. Shen Rushuang was so angry that she was about to die. Moreover, when she saw Yun Chujia's previous bearing, she felt a faint sense of inferiority. Even if she did not want to admit it, she knew that the bearing that she was proud of could not compare to that pig demon. It was simply infuriating. Elder Shao read the final ranking again. At this time, there were only 10 people left on the high platform. When Elder Shao was about to hold the 4th round of the competition, one of the examiners could not suppress his curiosity and asked He Xinjiu, "Zhu Xiaojiu, the person you mentioned earlier who deliberately gave you a low score, what happened in the end?" He Xinjiu curled the corners of her lips. "Nothing much. I just vividly explained what it meant to not leave any chickens or dogs behind. Even the eggs that the chickens had just laid were crushed by me." The examiner immediately shivered. He was glad that he had given him 10 points. Otherwise, this pig demon would have let him know what it meant to leave no one alive. The other examiners also secretly wiped the cold sweat on their heads. It was a close call. Shen Rushuang's eyes lit up. She came up with a plan and said gently, "Miss Xu, aren't you being too cruel? You should be kind and courteous. Isn't it inappropriate for you to be like this?" As soon as Shen Rushuang opened her mouth, everyone's eyes turned to He Xinjiu. He Xinjiu chuckled. "Cruel? You have to resort to extreme means when dealing with extraordinary people. Being kind to the bad people is cruel to the good people. I've said before that I became the saint's concubine to do evil things, so I don't care about comments about being cruel. On the contrary, Miss Xing seems to be a kind-hearted and good girl. She's not suitable to be the saint's concubine." I'd better find a nunnery to become a monk. Only in this way can you sweep the floor without hurting the lives of the ants and cherish the moth gauze covering the lamp. Only then can you show your stupid kindness. Oh right, don't pretend to faint just to show my viciousness. After all, your acting skills are really not that good. Shen Rushuang had never met a woman who spoke like a knife before. For a moment, she was rendered speechless. The people below suddenly felt that this pig demon's words were quite interesting. On the contrary, the Shen Rushuang that they thought was perfect seemed to be nothing more than that. Moreover, she was a little hypocritical. Seeing that Shen Rushuang was trembling with anger, Elder Xiao quickly tried to smooth things over. Today's competition ends here. The fourth round will be held tomorrow. After leaving the stage, He Xinjiu rushed to Di Baiming like a happy little rabbit. She grabbed his arm and said, "Let's go back quickly. I want to drink the lotus seed soup." Everyone. Previously, the pig demon had said that the saint's son fed her the lotus seed soup with his mouth. Oh my God, this shameless person, wasn't he openly teasing the saint's son? This was nothing. They watched the saint's son lovingly stroke the pig demon's hair, then took out a handkerchief to help the pig demon wipe his hands. He took out a fruit and handed it to the pig demon. The women's hearts were completely shattered into 108 pieces. They could no longer live. Chapter 46:11. He really had a mouth to feed. Shen Rushuang gnashed her teeth in anger. Thinking of Yun Chujia's humiliation to her, she wished she could tear He Xinjiu into pieces. Seeing Shen Rushuang's ferocious expression, Elder Shen couldn't help but frown. Rushuang, did a little setback make you lose your composure? The consort selection is not over yet. That pig demon is destined not to win first place. Why do you care so much? Shen Rushuang was startled and her eyes reddened. Grandfather, I just can't take it. That pig demon can't compare to me at all. The Holy Sun treats me as cold as ice, but he treats her so well. I really can't figure it out. The Holy Sun is only temporarily bewitched by that pig demon. From today's competition, that pig demon isn't completely useless. Even so, she won't pass tomorrow's test. You don't have to take her to heart, Elder Sheng said firmly. Shen Rushuang thought of the later test and felt a little more at ease. She let that pig demon be complacent for a while, and she would cry at that time. On the other side, He Xinjiu and the others returned to the Saint Child's mansion. But face naturally flattered He Xinjiu again. Everyone was already numb and pretended not to hear it. He Xinjiu said with a smile, "Little shadow, I realize that you're more and more concerned about me now. Do you feel that it's good to be by my side now? Do you feel that it's an honor to follow me for 3 lifetimes? Qi Ying, he really has a bad mouth. He shouldn't have talked to her when he had nothing to do." Why did he remind her? Although He Xinjiu said so, she didn't slack off. She brought Butt-Face into the library once again. It was always good to be prepared. Chu Mo stayed with He Xinjiu in the library for a while. When she saw that it was getting late, she left the library. She sighed in her heart. Those people might have thought that little Jiu was lucky, but they did not know that she had put in a lot of effort behind the scenes. Chu Mo thought as she walked towards her own courtyard. As an honored guest of the Holy Sun, Chu Mo and the others all had their own courtyard, and they also had palace maids to serve them. Before Chu Mo reached her own courtyard, she saw Aog and Qi Ying at the entrance of her courtyard, seemingly arguing about something. Chu Mo frowned slightly and took 2 steps forward. Seeing her coming over, Aog and Qi Ying did not say anything. However, it could be seen from their expressions that the two of them were not happy. "What's wrong with you?" Chu Mo asked in confusion. Aog snorted coldly. "I came to discuss something with you, but he pretended to be ignorant and warned me to stay away from you. Do you think he's sick?" Qi Ying also snorted coldly. "You know very well whether some people have bad intentions or not. I just don't like it." Bah! Someone, don't forget the disgusting things you've done in the past. Stop pretending to be a good person in front of me. I think you're the one with ulterior motives. Aog said, unwilling to be outdone. Chu Mo was completely confused. She glanced at the two of them. Are you two sick? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at? Aog, why are you looking for me? Aog glanced at Chi Ying and said, let's go in and talk. We don't want some people to cause trouble. Chu Mo shook her head speechlessly. She opened the courtyard door and walked in first. Aog looked at Chi Ying proudly before following him in. Chi Ying clenched his fist, then lowered his head dejectedly and sighed before leaving. Chapter 46:12 thanked the person who gave the question after entering the room. The palace maid served tea and left respectfully. Chu Mo looked at Aog in confusion. Why are you looking for me? Aog took out a handkerchief and threw it on the coffee table. When I was beaten up by little Joe, didn't you give me a handkerchief to wipe my blood? I wanted to wash it and return it to you, but I couldn't wash it properly, so this handkerchief can be considered as returning it to you. Chu Mo picked up the handkerchief on the coffee table and couldn't help but be stunned. This wasn't a handkerchief used to wipe one's hands, but a low-grade immortal artifact. Although it wasn't useful in the demon realm and the ghost realm, but in other continents, it was definitely a treasure that everyone fought over. I can't take it. It's too valuable. Moreover, it's not useful in the ghost realm. Chu Mo put the handkerchief back on the coffee table. Aog said impatiently, keep it if you want it. What are you waiting for? Aog didn't care about Chu Mo's reaction. He just left and slammed the door. Chu Mo was dumbfounded. Did Aog take the wrong medicine? Chu Mo shook her head and put away the handkerchief. She was going to find an opportunity to return it to Aog. The next morning, He Xinjiu, Di Baiming, and the others went to the consort selection convention again. After the selection the day before, there were only 10 people left on the high platform. After Elder Shao gave some pleasantries, he announced the content of the 4th round of the test, selection of medicinal herbs. Each contestant had a basket in front of them. The contestants had to choose the 10 designated medicinal herbs. The 3 who took the fastest time advanced, and the other 7 were eliminated. After Elder Shao finished explaining the rules, he glanced at Hei Xinjiu, thinking that this Zhu Xiaojiu was destined to be eliminated. Everyone in the immortal ginseng tribe had the talent to distinguish herbs, but there were differences in strength. It was not something that this Zhu Xiaojiu could compare to. Just as Elder Shao was thinking about it, Hei Xinjiu raised her claws. Zhu Xiaojiu, what do you have to say? Elder Shao sneered in his heart. Could it be that this Zhu Xiaojiu was going to forfeit? Elder Shao. He snorted coldly and thought to himself, this pig demon is just a stubborn duck. She will cry in a while. However, after the competition began, when the others had only picked out 3 or 4 herbs, Hei Xinjiu had already picked out 10 herbs, and all of them were correct. Elder Shao looked at Hei Xinjiu, who was triumphant, and he could not describe the feeling in his heart. This consort selection was originally designed to eliminate this Zhu Xiaojiu. Who would have thought that she would get first place in every round of the competition? This made her famous, and she gradually won the public's recognition. However, she could not win this last round no matter what. Thinking of the contents of the last round of the test, Elder Shao felt a little guilty. After these rounds of tests, his impression of Hei Xinjiu had changed, but now he could only bite the bullet and proceed according to the plan. Although Shen Rushuang won second place, she looked very upset when she saw that Hei Xinjiu had won the first place. Mu Wu, who had obtained third place, glanced at Shen Rushuang and Hei Xinjiu without batting an eyelid. She thought to herself that even though the two of them had their own advantages, it was not impossible for her to get the upper hand in the competition. The audience below the stage craned their necks to watch. They knew that the most critical moment was coming. The final saint consort would be chosen in the 5th round of the test. Chapter 46:13. The final round of the test. Elder Shao coughed dryly and said, "The fifth round of the test is a talent test. The Saint Child consort has to bear children for the Saint Child, so her talent is extremely important. Therefore, whoever has the best talent in this round will be the champion of the consort selection convention. Someone, bring up our immortal ginseng tribe's spirit testing ball." When the crowd heard this, they immediately started discussing, "This is clearly not allowing that pig demon to become the Saint Child consort. Our immortal ginseng tribe's spirit testing ball can only sense the immortal ginseng tribe's demonic talent. This pig demon can't even reach the lowest grade of red. Yeah, this is deliberately targeting that pig demon. To be honest, I feel that it's a little unfair. That pig demon finally made it to the last round, but he encountered such a test content. Isn't this bullying? There's no other way. I reckon that the Elder Council wants Xing Rushuang to become the Saint Consort. I heard that when Xing Rushuang was testing, the spirit testing ball was blue. Red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and purple. This blue is an excellent talent." The crowd below the stage discussed animatedly. AOG and the others in the VIP seats were both worried and angry. This was really going too far. As for marrying Xing Rushuang, that was a dream. Only Butt-Face was as calm as ever. What bullshit spirit testing ball? It was nothing to the little fairy. How could he know that He Xinjiu, whom he blindly worshipped, was about to be angered at this moment? Too despicable. Too shameless. Too shameless. He actually thought of such a test content. It was obvious that he was bullying her because she was not from the immortal ginseng tribe. This fellow had already thought it through. When the test was over, she would make a big fuss. Xing Rushuang, that little bitch, wanted to marry a gigolo? Not to mention the door, there was no window. Xing Rushuang revealed a faint smug look. Neither that pig demon nor that Mu Wu could be as talented as her. She was definitely going to be the Saint Consort. The test was conducted in reverse order. Therefore, Mu Wu, who was ranked third, was the first to start the test. She put her hand on the spirit testing ball and slowly injected her demonic power into it. Soon, the spirit testing ball turned green. Although her talent was quite good, Mu Wu was not happy. Although green talent was good, it was not as good as Xing Rushuang's blue color. After Mu Wu's test, it was Xing Rushuang's turn. Xing Rushuang placed her hand on the spirit testing ball, and the spirit testing ball quickly turned blue. Although the people below knew that Xing Rushuang's talent was blue, they still cried out in surprise. After all, blue talent was too rare. After Xing Rushuang's test, it was He Xinjiu's turn. He Xinjiu slowly walked to the spirit testing ball. This fellow cursed in her heart. She couldn't use her spiritual power here. Otherwise, she could just use a few purple lightning bolts. She might be able to fool it. After all, purple was the most talented. However, she could only use her demonic power here. She wasn't from the celestial ginseng tribe. She probably couldn't even make a red color. She was really holding her breath. Damn it. After the competition ended, she would definitely scold the shameless Elder Council. Seeing that He Xinjiu did not put her hand on the spirit testing ball, Elder Shao felt a little guilty. He coughed uncomfortably and said, "Zhu Xiaojiu, quickly put your hand on it and inject your demonic power." Chapter 46:14 Spirit Testing Ball. He Xinjiu thought that since there was nothing else she could do, she would just test it. At most, she wouldn't light it up. Thus, this fellow placed his hand on the spirit testing ball and slowly injected demonic power into it. As expected, the spirit testing ball didn't change in color at all. Xing Rushuang's eyes revealed a smug look. This Saint Child consort was hers. Some of the people below the stage were excited, while others shook their heads and sighed. The situation was set. Xing Rushuang was now the Saint Consort. At this moment, the spirit testing ball suddenly turned red. Although the crowd was a little surprised, this pig demon was not from the immortal ginseng tribe. How could it make the spirit testing ball react? However, this was not important. Not to mention red, even cyan could not compare to Xing Rushuang's blue talent. Unexpectedly, the spirit testing ball's color changed again, from red to orange. Then, orange became yellow. Well, yellow wasn't a big deal. It couldn't compare to blue anyway. When the spirit testing ball's color changed to blue, everyone lost their composure. Oh my, no way. This pig demon's talent was blue as well. Wasn't it the same as Xing Rushuang's? Xing Rushuang's face was extremely unsightly. Never in her dreams did she expect He Xingjia's talent to be blue as well. How was this possible? At this moment, everyone exclaimed. Purple. Purple. That pig demon's talent is actually purple. The legendary highest talent level. Oh my god. No wonder our Holy Sun insisted on marrying this pig demon. It turns out that the Holy Sun has sharp eyes. He already knew that Zhu Xiaojia's talent is so amazing. Oh my god, we really can't judge a book by its cover. I didn't expect this pig demon to have such a heaven-defying talent. While the crowd was discussing, the purple color of the spirit testing ball became denser and denser, and the entire spirit testing ball exploded into powder. He Xingjiu was shocked. Fortunately, she had set up a protective barrier in time, or else she would have been injured. This fellow wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said to the dumbfounded Elder Shao, "Can't you guys prepare a high-quality spirit testing ball? If you destroy my beauty, can you afford to compensate me? Elder Shao, with your looks, wouldn't it be better if you were disfigured?" However, he had never heard of anyone blowing up the spirit testing ball during the talent test. Was Zhu Xiaojia's talent so heaven-defying? Suddenly, Xing Rushuang said with a ferocious expression, "Elder Shao, this Zhu Xiaojiu must have used some evil method. Otherwise, the spirit testing ball wouldn't have exploded, so her test results should be invalid." This, Elder Shao was in a dilemma. Although Xing Rushuang's words were somewhat arbitrary, Zhu Xiaojia's talent test was indeed abnormal. He Xingjiu sneered, "It's clearly just that the spirit testing ball just now was not strong enough. If you get another one, I'll test it again. True gold is not afraid of fire refinement. Why would I be afraid of a small talent test?" Elder Shao immediately ordered someone to bring another spirit testing ball over. He Xingjiu placed her hand on it. This fellow used his spiritual sense to curse, "Little Zhong Zhong Zhong, are you stupid? I asked you to help me cheat, not to get me into trouble. This time, you better take it easy and get a purple one." It turned out that when He Xingjiu was about to give up, Demon Sky Bell volunteered. Although it did not have much demonic power now, it was still okay to cheat on the spirit testing ball. However, it did not expect to blow up the spirit testing ball all of a sudden. Chapter 46:15, Xing Rushuang who was seeking death this time, the demon Sky Bell restrained its demonic power and stopped injecting demonic power into the spirit testing ball after it turned purple. He Xingjiu withdrew her hand and said to Elder Shao, "Elder Shao, is it enough this time? The result has been decided. Shouldn't you announce the result now?" Looking at the rich purple color on the spirit testing ball, Elder Shao's resistance toward He Xingjiu had mostly disappeared. Apart from her appearance, race, this Zhu Xiaojiu was indeed worthy of the Holy Sun. Xing Rushuang stared at the purple color on the spirit testing ball, and her face was full of jealousy and hatred. She shouted, "Impossible! Impossible! This pig demon can't be a purple talent. She must have cheated." Elder Shao shook his head slightly. He originally thought that this girl Rushuang was pretty good, but now he felt that she was too petty. The truth was right in front of him, but she still refused to admit it. She really couldn't afford to lose. The audience below the stage also pointed at Xing Rushuang. She was willing to accept her loss. Zhu Xiaojiu was the first place in every round, so what was there for her to be unconvinced about? Was she superior to others just because she was Elder Sheng's granddaughter? Elder Xiao ignored the ferocious-looking Sheng Rushuang and said loudly, "The champion of this consort selection competition is Zhu Xiaojiu. She will also become the future saint-child consort." Although the applause was not very enthusiastic, there was no heckling or opposition. Although they were still somewhat against He Xinjiu, it was much better than before. Anyway, the saint's son liked her, so it was good for Zhu Xiaojiu. He Xinjiu was very happy in her heart. Although the marriage was to get the jade token, it had to be the wedding night, right? Although they couldn't really have sex, it was still good to take advantage of a gigolo. He Xinjiu was happy, and Sheng Rushuang was almost angered to death. After returning to the manor, she looked for Elder Sheng and said, "Grandfather, even if I have to be a side concubine, I still want to marry the Holy Son. Please help me." Elder Sheng looked at his crying granddaughter, whose eyes were red and swollen, and felt his heart ache. Thus, he thickened his old face and came to see Di Biming. The result was obvious. He was almost spat out blood by Di Biming, so he could only return to the manor in embarrassment. "Rushuang, the Holy Son is determined. Just give up," Elder Sheng said with a sigh. How could Sheng Rushuang be willing? He had bribed a palace maid to poison He Xinjiu to death. He Xinjiu, that pervert, was naturally fine. However, she had accidentally poisoned Chu Mo. With He Xinjiu by her side, Chu Mo was safe in the end, so it was not a big deal. Elder Sheng knew that his granddaughter had caused a big trouble. Murdering the future Holy Son consort was the death penalty for wiping out the entire family. He immediately came crying and begging for forgiveness. The other 4 elders also interceded on his behalf. In the end, Elder Sheng removed Sheng Rushuang from the Sheng family and never allowed her to enter the imperial city for the rest of her life. He then took out a number of precious treasures to quell the storm. Although Sheng Rushuang was not executed, to her, who had always been proud and arrogant, such a punishment made her wish she was dead. He Xinjiu did not care whether she was dead or alive, because this guy had found something interesting. When Chu Mo was in trouble, both Qiying and Aog were even more anxious than her. They were all running around anxiously. If they said that there was no adultery or love, no one would believe it. He Xinjiu was curious. It was understandable that Qiying might have liked Chu Mo before. After all, they had been together for a long time. When did Aog take a liking to Chu Mo? You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.